Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom. If you are joining us on live stream, I was saying before some of you arrived that this service, before COVID, we'd sit in chairs, we'd all be very close, and, it was really lovely. Now, unfortunately, we're very fortunate to be able to live stream, but it means the position is a little bit different, so I can see you guys out there. And I'm sorry that I have a table between me and all of you, but luckily this room, it has incredible acoustics. The sound is very live and vibrant. So as we move through this morning's liturgy, it will feel very much as though our numbers are multiplied in this space. Okay. Let's find our way to the beginning of our service. We are starting on page, let's see. We are starting on page 192. And this is a more liturgical service. So we make many stopping points along the way in the liturgy, plenty of Hebrew, but also plenty of refrains, sentences and phrases, melodic and otherwise, that come back over and over again. Lots of yaylalais that come up from time to time. So if you're ever wondering what it is you should be singing, I want to make the suggestion that you go with Yalalai. Okay, very Jewish. You ready? All right, Ma Tovu, here we go. Aneni be'emet yishecha we each have our own way into each one of our prayers. Every melody, every word sits with each one of us as individuals in a completely special and individual way. So for me, this melody, which is the one that I am most often to sing for Matovu if we are not using any instruments, and I love the opportunity to have a service where we don't use any instruments because we can really hear one another participate. I most often sing this melody for a variety of reasons. But one of the things that nigun, the section that has no words, to me, it always feels a little bit like a wandering minstrel. Like, I imagine like a guy with a lute just sort of roving around in like a film or something, Not necessarily the image you would expect, but I imagine this is kind of a storyteller who is wandering about, sort of a meandering melody. And for me, that image leaves a question mark, because who knows where he's going? I don't know. When you encounter that character in literature and film, they're not telling you, I just came from this place and now I'm going to, you don't ever get his whole story. You just get the snapshot. And I think that tefillah our service is very much like that, because we each are coming from where we're coming from. And after we're done here, we're going where we're going, and it's not the same place for the most part. But we have this time together. We have this little glimpse of time to share an experience, to share the story that is our now. So in the spirit of that shared experience, let's turn the page. And we will now give thanks to God for our bodies, that they work, that even when they're not working, there is always the promise of healing and of growth and of getting better and feeling better day after day. We'll read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei chol basar umafli la'asot. Now we'll turn the page again, and these two blessings are side by side in our prayer book, one for our bodies, the other for our souls. Because as human beings, we know we are made up of the stuff we can see, right? Our physical self, but also the stuff that is intangible, our soul or our spirit, what makes us us. We'll read together on the bottom of 197. My soul came to me pure, drawn of the holy. All the time it remains within me. I am thankful for its thirst for compassion and justice. Let my eyes behold the beauty of all creatures. Let my hands know the privilege of righteous deeds. Baruch atah Adonai, asher biyado nefesh kol chai, beruach kol besar ish. On page 198 and 200 and 202, 3 right-hand pages, we have a whole long list of blessings in Hebrew. And these blessings are called, you'll see their title at the top of page 198, Nisim B'chol Yom, and a nes is a miracle. So Nisim B'chol Yom, miracles that we see in our lives each and every day. We're going to chant through all these blessings in Hebrew. As we move our way through the Hebrew, you can take time to focus on the English that is in the margin, which is how the editors of this prayer book have identified the sort of central message of that particular blessing. That's something you could focus on. You could focus on reading the English. You could focus on chanting all of the Hebrew words while we go. You could also take this time to reflect on those things for which you see in your life as a blessing. I will tell you from where I stand, one of the tricks of this room is that the best view in the whole room is my view. So I have profound gratitude for the beauty of the outdoors that is behind each one of you as we pray today. You are surrounded by nature. You're surrounded by great beauty. We chant together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech bibina lehavchin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam amechin mitzadei kaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish harumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layav koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir she'enan einai utnuma me'af apai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Amen. And on page 224, we have our divider. This is a divider in the service that says we've completed our warm-up and we're moving into Baruch Hu, which is on the very next page. This prayer, the Chatzi Kaddish, appears multiple times throughout the prayer book as a sort of signpost that you're moving from one part of the service to the next. Usually when we think of Kaddish, we think of the mourner's Kaddish most often. That is the one that we are most familiar with. But of course here the text is identical with the exception of the paragraph Oseh Shalom B'Mromav that is at the end of the mourner's Kaddish. And each of these places are stopping points. They're anchors, right? They're like, I see where we are. I understand. We have warmed up. We've spent a little bit of time together. And now we're moving into the heart of our service. Our tradition says that the Baruch Hu on the next page, which is the call to worship, is the moment of communal arrival. That is the moment where we try to leave our individual selves behind and refocus our presence into this communal moment. So we're going to chant Chatzi Kaddish and turn the page. As we turn the page to Baruch Hu, please rise at that time. Yitkadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah ve'almad yivrach yireutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lomei almayah Yitbarach v'shabach v'pa'ar v'tromam v'naseh v'tadar v'talev v'talal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nelchemata damiran b'alema ve'imeru amen. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And on the next page, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Oseh Shalom Uvorei Et HaKol HaMeir La'aretz V'Ladarim Aleha Berachamim Uvtuvo Mechadesh B'chol Yom Tamid Ma'aseh V'Reshit Ma Rabu Ma'asecha Adonai Kulam B'chochma Asita Mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu Al Shevach Ma'aseh Yadecha Ve'al Me'ore Or She'asita Yifa'arucha Sela Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir V'nizkeh Chulanu Mehera Le'oro Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. On the top of 231. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard, Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us toward our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. We're on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta bam, vishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochvecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu litotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam, Al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema antizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai bitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. On page 240 are the words of Mi Chamocha, a prayer of wonder and freedom and rejoicing. And on this particular Memorial Day weekend, I have a sense of awe and gratitude for those who have given their lives throughout history for the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. A sense of wonder and awe that we get to be a part of this great American project. And our ancestors were part of the very beginning of this great Jewish project that we also get to be a part of. So we sing Mi Chamocha with joy, with wonder, and with awe. Mi Chamocha ha'elim Adonai
Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael. Ufedechinu mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go'aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Please rise for the Amidah. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufia Gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula libnei v'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magin. Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atara le'oshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech nofelim verofech oholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, v'yishenei achar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech mehit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishimo tobish memarom, hakatuv al yad neviecha, v'kara ze el ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch haaretz, Kivodo, Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu Ma'adir Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch Kivod Adonai, Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, ve'hu Yashmienu, ve'rachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, Ledor v'ador, Hallelujah. Ledor v'ador nagiv kodlecha, u'nitzach nitzachim kiddushatcha nadgish, v'shivkacha Eloheinu mipiru lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We take time now for silent prayer and reflection. We will come back together in a few minutes
with the words of Oseh Shalom, which are on the bottom of page 260. So either take this time to move through these pages or to reflect on your own prayers. I'm serious, come on up. Yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la la la. Okay, we are on page 368. If you want to see the prayer in your book, come on all the way up. There's just a handful of us, so you should come all the way up. No one will see you on the live stream if you stand right there. You're free, like come all the way. You can come over here. If you want to be seen on the live stream, you can come over here. When there's just so few of us, it's kind of cool to get to come up and like see the Torah, right? Let me find my spot. There it is. And say a word about this, the little bit of Torah that we're going to chant. There it is. Okay. So this week's Torah portion is Bechukotai. We are basically at the end of the book of Leviticus. We are getting ready to move on into Numbers. And the three little verses that we'll read today, in it, God says, I'm going to make sort of a mishkan. My presence will be experienced among you. And the second sentence, V'hit halachti b'tochechem, and I'll walk among you. And I read a number of commentaries about this particular verse because V'hit halachti b'tochechem. Okay, I'm going to walk. It literally, it's like I'm going to walk around among you. What does that even mean? And what some of the commentators suggest is that this is a reminder that God is not just in the places that we think are holy. God is with us wherever we are, wherever we go. We have the ability to draw on that sense of God, hid halachti b'tochachem, walking with us wherever we are. If it's a soccer field, it's a stage, it's the grocery store, right? There is the potential to feel that sense of holiness and presence when you need it. It's looking out of beautiful windows to see massive, fabulous trees and a bright blue sky. So if you are over the age of 13 and you'd like to help us with this blessing, okay? If you're under the age of 13, this is a good time to practice, okay? For your turn, which is not now. Ready? Here we go. Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach, Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen. V'natati mishkani b'tochechem, v'lo tig'ol nafshi etchem. V'hitalachti b'tochechem, v'hayiti lachem le'Elohim, ve'otam tihiyu li le'am. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, mihiot lahem avadim, va'eshbor motot olechem, ve'olech etchem komimiut. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Okay, question mark. And then we'll put the Torah away. The third verse, which I didn't mention before, starts like this. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. Anybody heard that before? That's super familiar. Why is it familiar? It's from the Ve'ahavta, right? The Ve'ahavta comes from a different part of the Torah. This is not the same quote. One of the things that's interesting, so we have a whole string of words that in fact are the same. And that happens sometimes, but not only that, the trope, so the musical grammar is identical, but the end of the sentence is different. It's like the negative, it's the negative version of the sentence in the Ve'ahavta. So we can go back and look at it if you want, but so Ani Adonai Elohechem, I am Adonai your God, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. That's the part that's the same, that brought you out of the land of Egypt. Okay, now if you've heard the English of Ve'ahavta enough times, you might be able to finish that sentence. Can anybody do it? How does it end? In order to be your people, I am Adonai your God. Okay, right, that's how it goes in the Ve'ahavta. Here it says, Mihiot lahem avadim, so that you wouldn't be slaves. Right? I let you out of the land of Egypt so that you would not be slaves. Ve'eshbor motot olechem, and I broke the pins of your ol, okay, of the like yoke. Okay, so like imagining that the human being was like a donkey or a bull or an animal that works, right? And do you know what I'm talking about if I describe the yoke that they might have? And so motot are pins, like the things that hold the yoke together. Ve'olechem komimiut, so that you can walk upright, right? So that like if you're in slavery or in servitude, you can't stand up. So the end is, I'm Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, so that you wouldn't have to be slaves. And I broke the pins of your yoke so that you could walk upright. There you go, Bechukotai. Thank you all for your help. Put the Torah away, a little taste of Torah. And as soon as we have the Torah back, We're going to continue with the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach, which are on page 586. So I'm going to invite you all to find a seat that is comfortable for you, but don't sit down, and find page 586. Because we're going to just need to stay standing a little bit longer. This is the Molaski Torah, which is the family Torah of the Diamond family. And it is just tremendously beautiful, but we need to be patient when we dress it because of its beautiful prints. All right, on page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, v'atei gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu kore'im, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamelachim, hakadosh baruch hu. 591. V'ne'emar v'chaya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, hayom hahu, hayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. Please be seated. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. It is a custom in our congregation that if you hear the name of a loved one mentioned, as we remember them, to please rise. We remember first those in our community who have died in the last 30 days who are in the period of Shloshim. We remember Larry Linker, Michael Prosha, and Elizabeth Rowe. And at their yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, we remember Beatrice Abrams, Louis Bernstein, Stella Cardoza, James P. Conway, Ethabel Green Corwin, Patty Deaton, Irma DiNicola, Rose Houdin Fine, Dina Frank, Arthur Goldstein, Louis Gordon, Dana Nelson Gordon, Estelle Gottesfeld, Anne Greenspan, Louise Harris, Chaskiel Hertzman, Myrna Hirsch, Susan Jacobson, Aaron Jaffe, Joan Kaplan, Zahava Carmon, Michael Kehoe, Eleanor Littauer, Arthur Stillman McDonald, Arthur Maniloff, Karen Starr Marks, Jenny Mendelson, Jay Millman, Norman Knorr, Norman Lewis Perlmutter, Michael Prosha, Joseph Rosenbaum, Miriam Rosenblum, Jean Rosker, Dolores Rothkopf, Florence Rothman Deutscher, Ida Ruck, Morris Schoenberg, Helen Schwartz, Deborah Schwerin, Israel Siegel, Shirley Rifkin Simons, Bertha Sklar, Louis Smolin, Joseph Spielman, Eve Stewart, Frederick Stiefel, Aileen Strauss, Charles Supero, Randolph Richard Tully Sr., Rivka Warschenbrot, Lee Weisenthal, Dora Williams, and Ida Zachary. Of course, we are also mindful of those who have died in the recent tragedies in this country. And as I mentioned earlier, in particular of our American servicemen and women who gave their lives for the freedoms we enjoy. Please rise as a congregational family with the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei, v'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'b'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mivarach le'alam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'ale v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you for coming. Enjoy your weekend.